talk about these conferences, right? So you have an ACC that's in bed with ESPN, but clearly they're not doing their job in bed. To be pushed a little bit more, to be on your hand, to be posted on Instagram and Facebook and all that type of deal. So you got the two Big Ten, the Big Ten and the SEC in regards conference and big money and things like that. FSU kind of started this trend. It wasn't really necessarily about the AC the from FSU perspective. It wasn't nearly about the snub from the playoffs last year, but more so just the money and TV revenue itself. Now, of course, now you leave the conference, there would be money that you would get in, not necessarily money, but you will have favoritism as far as these political talks that we're having right now. But the main thing is money, as far as the TV money. So do you feel like with this snub on top of that, on top of the TV money, FSU kind of jumped in front of things as far as trying to lead the conference and join the SEC or the Big Ten? Do you feel like that'll be something that Miami will try to do or push moving forward to be more aggressive with moving forward, especially how things played out down the stretch?
Absolutely. I saw in the chat somebody said that we sided with the ACC. Miami sided with the ACC. We didn't side with the ACC. I'm just be honest with you. Florida laid on the sword. Florida State, excuse me, and Clemson laid on the sword. And I mean, to just be honest with you, it's smart to just let them go ahead and do it since they jumped out first, and they were the best people to jump out first. We didn't have the voice at the time. Florida State and Clemson were, the top two teams at the time. They had the best product to sell and the best argument as to why, there should be some larger revenue shares coming their way, right? So Miami didn't side with them. It's just, it ain't your time to talk right now. Let them talk, watch how it goes, and then you can join the battle at the appropriate time. Everybody ain't supposed to be at the front of the line at the same time, but we all know ultimately everybody wants out of the ACC. It just doesn't bear any weight anymore.
Everybody that take football serious.
Exactly. And I mean, and everybody take money serious. So who want to get left out? And nobody gonna want to get left out. They just may end up left out. You may see, as these conferences, like we just saw the Pac-12, right? Amazing. I've been watching Pac-12, I don't know, my whole life. It's gone now. Everybody jumped ship because it just wasn't no money left, and they knew where they could go get them some money. So when their deals was up, or they jumped ship, got out. And so, yeah, of course, that'll absolutely be the direction. That's gonna be the direction for anybody left in this ACC because the money can't be garnered there. And that's just the bottom line. You sign a bad deal, that's on everybody involved that did something that egregious. I mean, we ain't learned nothing from Magic Johnson. Bro, you don't sign no 100-year deal for $1 million a year. Like, it seemed good at the time. Well, just sign something shorter and let them pay you for,
Right.
where you at now and see where you
deal
grow.
grows year by year.
Yeah.
We've seen, so to even jump into that was crazy in the first place.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I do think the teams within the ACC, Clemson, Florida State, Miami,
UNC will want to get out. I mean, nobody gonna want to say NC State. There's nobody that's gonna want to be in it. Syracuse would be well fit in the Big Ten. That'd be, right up their alley. Virginia Tech. ACC football is not bad football. Like
it's a good quality of football, to be honest with you.
it's thank you. Exactly. Like, and you go back and look at some of these recent bowls, we continue to live on past narratives, which is how Alabama has this advantage this year, anyways. And the fact that, they got these ranked wins against teams that, again, who decided these guys were so good? Me and CJ have been over here talking for, weeks about how Missouri is just, and why they even up there, right? And then we seen when they had an opportunity to prove it, they get their ass whooped. So who's deciding these things?
Boston College gave them everything they wanted.
Come on. You know what I'm saying? And this is not a good Boston College, but they good enough to sit there and go toe-to-toe. The ACC could go toe-to-toe to SEC week in and week out if we talking this season. We cannot continue to live on greatness from years past. We've got to talk about what's going on today in college football. Ain't none of them. Who like that over there? It definitely ain't Georgia. It definitely ain't Alabama. Certainly isn't South Carolina or Ole Miss.
And I don't truly believe it's Texas either.
Texas got chinks in the armor too, right? We know they could go down. I suspect they may lose to Georgia again, right? They'll take this same team, So who over there is just stepping on shit to the point where it's like, nah, y'all don't want no smoke. Like, I had somebody try to introduce that to me this morning. I was using the 26 account. I said, who else besides me? I want Ole Miss now. Playoffs be damn. I don't care about that no more. Please give me Ole Miss. Because Lane Kiffin doing a lot of fat mouthing in politics. And Lane, you
A
had
lot.
every chance to win. Every chance to win. You got
Right.
bad losses. And
Right.
your
If
wins.
we being quite frank, man, you did a bad job coaching this year. You went all crazy in the portal. This is supposed to be the year for Ole Miss. You got this kid and that kid and that kid in the third, and shit, you still didn't know with 3 damn losses. So
You blew it.
right,
Now it's hard to play in Florida. We did it. You think that environment for Miami and Florida wasn't more intense than Ole Miss?
right.
Don't play yourself. Don't play yourself. There's nothing but hate in that stadium. Them people hung in there too. I'm giving that. I said that when I watched that game. They gave it the long fight, bro. Them people did not
They
really get
wanted
out
it.
of there. Yeah, they wanted it bad, man. People ain't really get out of there until about 5 minutes left in the fourth. They was really putting in all their energy in that team. That's an old actual hatred and rivalry. So, all these crybaby narratives ain't it. And that's the thing. I don't want to cry for Miami because we did hold our own fate in our hands.
But
However,
even
we got to
so, though,
call a
man,
spade a
you, do
spade.
see, you see the tea leaves of the ACC in regards to two things: how the ACC is trending as far as perception. You started last year; it's the first undefeated P5 team ever being left out of the playoffs in favor for, I want to say it was two teams that lost the game.
Right.
Two
Yeah,
teams.
Washington
Yeah,
already took a L.
three teams then rather.
Yeah.
Washington took a L. Texas and Alabama. So
Yep.
you have undefeated P5 team in favor for three teams that took a loss or whatnot. And then this year, like I said, you have a 2-loss Miami team on the cusp of not because they're out of the playoffs. And then you have a SMU team who only has 1 loss at the damn time,
And
who's
they
playing.
itching to kick them out.
They easily could be replaced by these 3-loss SEC teams that can get into the playoffs based off the perception. And then you look at the money side of the situation in regards to how much more of an advantage it is for a Vanderbilt over a Florida State. Like Vanderbilt gets X amount of TV dollars versus Florida State. It's like 80, 60 or 80 million. I think it goes up every year in the SEC. I'm not sure what the exact number here is right now. That's the crazy part, right? And we're stuck at 20 or so in the ACC. We're talking about Vanderbilt having a money difference in regards to Florida State, a $60 million money difference, just to 60 to 40 million just to put in the ballpark. Now, you throw that to a Florida, you throw that to a Georgia, a LSU, like teams that you have to bang with on a regular from a recruiting standpoint and things like that. Then this is the disadvantage grows annually, and there's nothing you can do from like a booster standpoint and things like that to kind of combat that. Because at the same damn time, these other schools are still having their booster dollars come in as well. So you're still economically behind the 8 ball with a lot of these schools, and that's a recruiting tactic as well. You see the
Exactly.
ACC this year signed 0 5 stars, if I'm not mistaken, across the board.
None.
Clemson, Miami, no 5 stars. All the 5 stars are going to the Big Ten and in the SEC. It's a narrative thing, and like I said, when you have a lot of dollars that you could throw into recruiting budgets and things like that, when you don't have that for a team like Florida State or Miami or Clemson, it's pretty frustrating, especially when you got these teams that are pretty much carrying a conference from a TV standpoint, and the conference will completely fold if said teams will leave. If one of the teams will leave, I think the conference will completely fold versus what we have on the table versus these other schools as far as the TV deals and the perception that they have. So leaving the ACC, in my opinion, I know people gave Florida State flack in regards to last year, all that type of shit, but nah, it's bigger than just a playoff snub and missing that year. It's a money situation as well, and we want to compete with the big boys on the national scale.
Big picture.
You got to be in those conferences.
Big picture.
That's how it is.
Stand
Last year,
corrected too. Washington was undefeated. My bad.
Washington
I
was
thought they
undefeated.
did. Yeah, Washington was undefeated. So it was Texas and Bama.
That's right. They beat Oregon twice. That's right. They beat
That's
Oregon
right.
twice.
I thought they almost lost to Oregon both times, but yeah, they did pull it off.
They
So
almost
either
lost to Washington State as well, too, which was another thing that pissed me off. Like the fucking narratives they were saying about, Florida State. I know I'm kind of going on an old Florida State tangent, but Florida State played the last 2 damn games close without Jordan Travis. Florida
right.
State covered one of them damn games. Louisville and Florida covered the spread, right? You got a
Mhm.
Washington team need the game winning field goal against a 5-win Washington State, and then you have a Alabama team who need the fucking miracle in the Iron Bowl to beat a terrible Auburn team. So we talk about covering spreads. Now, many of them teams down the stretch cover those spreads and beat the teams they're supposed to beat lesser opponents, that shouldn't be even competing. And we're talking about a Louisville team that was a top 20 offense and ranked at the time. So, but I do get the narrative in regards
They had a
to
good defense.
yeah. I do get the narrative as far as how to try to push the SEC versus these other conferences, and this is staying on the resume for sure.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
go ahead.
unfortunate. But like I said, I think in due time, it just sucks, man. Like I say, when you sign a bad deal, trying to get out of it's going to be a mug. That's just what it is. It's going to be a long, hard road to try to fight your way out of it. But believe you me, if they ain't bringing a tremendous bag, the ACC will just not to exist. And I don't think it is. I think the ACC will cease to exist. And I think it'd be like what you were talking about, just two super conferences, and then they'll just make divisions within those two super conferences, and that'll be it. There's enough talent in those other conferences, enough geographical alignments that would make sense for a lot of these alignments to happen, and so they're gonna get us for everything they can. And when it's up, everybody gonna burn the ship down. It is what it
Facts.
is.
Money rule the world. I will move on to another topic. Make sure you guys hit that like button. We got about 130 or so people here. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't.